Hi, this is a demo for a Roland MC4 microcomposer. I've had the unit from new actually, 1982, and more or less retired from music now, so I'm going to be selling it. But I just want to kind of demonstrate it, hook it up and do some programming to let anybody know how it all works. It doesn't really give you anything when you turn it on. It's very much, you need to do a little bit of self-training, but the manual is really good. So if you follow the manual, it sort of gives you examples how to program, and once you've kind of done those, you've really got a good handle on it. The main thing is, I think in modern day music, it's a really good timing machine, so it can get very precise. So what I'm going to show you initially is how I've hooked it up. I've hooked it up to a DAW, in my case Logic Pro X, Pro 10, whatever it is, and I'll show you how that's all set up. So when you turn the unit on, it comes up with a initial screen, and that's TB, that stands for time base, and the default time base is 120, 30, 15, and that relates to like the note being 120 long. It's a quarter note, that is, lasting for 30 units, and sounding for 15 units. I'll explain that all a bit better later. But how I've got it hooked up is the MC4 sends out control voltages and gates, so it's designed for the old analog synths with control voltage and gate inputs. Very soon that moved to digital synths. So I've got the OP-8, which is the converter, and it converts the output of the MC4 into digital, and I'll show you what happens there. I'll hook it up and wire it up in a minute, but basically it goes into the OP-8, there's a plug out, and that goes to another interface for MIDI. So that's called the Roland MD8, and that is a DCB. The OP-8 delivers a DCB output, so that plugs in to the front of the MD8, and then you've got like the interface to MIDI. So in this case I've got the input from the OP-8 coming in, then I've got a MIDI out, and that is going to the computer interface, in this case Steinberg UR22, but they're all the same. It's basically like audio inputs and MIDI inputs and outputs. So that MIDI out from the MD8 is going to the input, see if we can get a bit of focus, the input of the UR22, and then that kind of feeds the DAW. So let's just show you that. So we've got Logic Pro X set up, already been doing a bit of saving and whatever. So, but all that is to get it to sound, it's just opening up a software instrument, and you can play it from the MC4. So in this case I've just got a software instrument, grand piano and strings. So we'll get to that where we get the sound up in a minute, and we'll go from there. But that's the hookup. Back at the MC4, we're going to put a program in from the manual, which kind of just gets you started. But to get the signal from the MC4 into the OP-8, use these kind of little patch leads. So we've got CV from the MC4 to CV input on the OP-8, and the gate from the MC4 to the OP-8. So the MC4 has got 4 channels, so you've got like 4 lots of outputs, but this you can do, there's multi outputs because you've got like CV, which is 12 voltage, and you've got CV2 gate, and you've got multiplex you can use for switching, but we'll keep it a bit simple. So we'll just make sure it sounds and go from there. We'll just put something quickly in. So use the mode switch till you get the edit screen. So we'll put a note in, 36 I think it's, or 24 I think it's a C, and we can just do I'll put a measure in there, so it's like 16. I'll just play it out. Put it in play mode. That's just to see it's actually making some noise. It's obviously the MIDI's being sent to the door, and it's you know, playing from the door. It loses all the data. So just so to save a program, we have to go into the CMT mode. And make sure you're cabled up. So the cabling is on the back of the MC4. You've got a CMT in and out. Now the original idea was to send the signal out and save it on a cassette tape, but we're going to do it on the Logic Pro X. So the output, CMT output from the MC4 goes into the input of your sort of interface, in my case the UR22. Then that's basically an audio signal into Logic. So at Logic you just set up a mono audio track. See if we can get focused up, and you can hear the basic tone coming through. When you go put it into record, so we're on that channel there and waiting to record, so stick Logic into record, back to the MC4, and then we're going to call this one number 6. So we do shift 7, oh no, just 7 actually, that's save, and give it the number 6, press measure end, and then that will so that's ended, that saves it, come out of CMT mode, back to the back to the Logic, just stop recording. The tone's still coming through because we're still connected, so we just take the input out from the interface, and that stops that noise, and it won't interfere with the signal coming back, because what we've got to do at the MC4 is verify that, so we can then resave it at a later time. Now in my case, in the Logic Pro preferences, audio, I'm going to have the output device as the UR22, so the signal comes from Logic to the UR22 to the MC4. So now we can set the head at Logic back to the beginning, and back to the MC4, CMT mode, and 8 is the verify, and we have it as number 6, measure end. Now we play Logic. We won't hear anything just because the way it's wired, there's no sort of monitoring of it. and it says it's okay, so that's the verification. What we need to do now is just come out of CMT mode, then switch it off, switch the MC4 off as though we're finished with it and we've lost the program, but then we can reload it in a sec. So switch the MC4 off, switch it on again, comes back to default, into the CMT mode, and we want to do, this time we want to load it, and it's number 6. Press the measure end, and it's waiting for it. So back to Logic and start the save again. Start the program that saved it. So we've saved it, we've verified it, and now we're going to load it. Okay, we just play it. So I'll set Logic to the built-in output so we can hear it. So we just loaded it and we're going to just play it. And that's it, and that's how you save. Yeah, when you switch the MC4 on, it defaults to TB 120/30/15. So the TB is the time base. So the 120 relates to like a default note, and then the 30 and 15 are step time, how long the note will last, and then 15 how long you want it to sound. So just to see if this explains it better. So a time base of 120/30/15. We've got a time base of 120, so a semi-breathe, which is in 4/4 timing, like a full bar length. The step time, which is the length of the note, would be 480. A minim, which is half a bar. The step time would be 240. A crotchet, which is a quarter of a bar, 4 to the bar, like that's 120 each. And then a quaver will be 60, semi-quaver 30, and a demi-semi-quaver 15. So you may or may not read music, but it's basically note length. So the other important factor is the CV name for the actual note. So the step time is how long a note sounds for, and the CV is what the actual note is. So I'll just get you something for that. This is any clearer. So basically we've got middle C, which is C, which is number 24. So when you're inputting the note into the MC4, 24 will be middle C. So going down from that, you go down in octaves to C0, that's 2 octaves down, and then going up the octaves. So that's the other concept really. So you got notes which are numbered, and then you got how long the notes last, and then the gate time is how long you want them to sound for. And that's the 3 things to bear in mind. With that default time base, we switched it on, we've got the initial screen. So if we go into edit mode, so we could use that 24, which would be the note. We can enter that 16 times, and on the 16th that would be like 16, that would be, that's a semi-quavers. So it's like default into semi-quavers. So if we just put that in 16 times and put a measure end in at the 16th time we do it, that will kind of hopefully explain a bit more. Then for the 16th one, measure end. So if we play that, and we put it on cycle, and that's the time base for the MC4 sort of factory setting. But if most professionals, when they was using it, would use a time base of 48, because it's just a lot of other instruments use it, like drum machines would be 48. So in that case you've got different step time settings, and these are kind of, I always thought, easier to remember, and it fits in with all the other equipment that was around at the time, probably still does. So a semi-breathe would be 192, million 96, that's half a bar. Crotchet, 4 in a bar, 48. Quaver, 24. Semi-quaver, that's 16s, 12. Then demi-semi-quaver, 6. And you can get down to whatever, you know, so you can do what you like with it. But it's kind of what the manual does. It takes you through an initial example of the time base of 120, 30, 15, and then you kind of learn that. It's pretty straightforward. Probably have that within an hour. Then as it goes through the manual, it goes to that's programming one channel on the MC4. When you get further in the manual, it tells you how to program the other 3 channels. So it gives you a musical example using the 4 channels, and that is based on the 48 time base. So it's getting you there. By the time you've done that, you've really got a handle on what everything does, and it's quite fast to use. Then you can kind of use it pretty intuitively. Okay, continuing with the MC4, I'm going to do a bit of programming. So going for the manual, so we're going to program that musical example, and when you do it you have to program the note, how long the note lasts, and how long you want it to sound for. We've started off and we've just switched it on, and we've got that time base. So, and the display reads TB 120, 30, 15, and then if you press measure end, you can set your tempo. So going by the menu here, it wants 120. Like putting the pitches in. So I press the forward button, then that takes you to the first beat of the first bar. So in this musical, it's already set to CV, and you can see the light there, so we know we're entering CVs, and we're on channel 1. 24, enter. 28, enter. 31, enter. 28, enter. 31. Then we do a measure end. That's the end of the first bar. So continue. 29, enter. 31, enter. 33, enter. 35, enter. 36, enter. 31, enter. 28, enter. 26, measure end. That's the end of the second bar. 24, enter. 28, enter. 31, enter. 28, enter. 31, measure end. End of the third bar. 29, enter. 28, enter. 26, enter. 31, enter. 24, measure end. So that's kind of put the notes in. So next step is to put in the step time. To change the step time, you press Shift 2, and then we're on the lights lit up, so we know we're on step time. We're still in channel 1. Press the forward button to take you to the first note of the first measure. So now we're entering step times, which is how long the notes last. So we got 120, enter, enter again, 60,
enter, enter again. I think I put 6 there, so I'm going to go back. Let's change that 60, and enter again at the second 60, and then we've got 30. So if we go forward, we can still carry entering this 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And then on the third bar, we don't have to kind of, we've already done where the bar stopped. So we're on 120, enter, 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 60, enter, 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 to 40.
So to play, you cycle from, this is the edit mode, that button showing. Using this switch, you go to the play mode. Let's give that a play. That's it. Take the cycle off. So that's got the notes and how long the notes last. The next thing is the gate, which is how long the notes last. To go to the gate mode, you want to be in edit mode, obviously, and you use the shift and then the number 3 key, and then you're in gate time. Press the forward button to get back to note 1, measure 1, and this is the we're going to put how long the notes last. So reading down the list there, we've got 50.
Enter, enter, 100, enter, 25, enter, enter. Second bar, 50, whoops, I'm going to find it now. 50, enter, 25, enter, enter, enter. 50, enter, 25, enter, enter, 50, enter. Bar 3, note 1, is enter, enter, 100, enter, 25, enter, enter. 50, enter, 25, enter, 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 200.
Okay, that beat means you've got to the end of the program. So put it in play mode. Right, that's it. That's the basics. This is to explain the MC4 channels and voices, so you can get 2 voices per channel. I've mostly been doing 1 voice per channel in the examples I've shown. But each channel has got 2 CVs, so you can have a different note on each one, and then so you basically got 2 voices per channel. When you patch that into the OP-8, you still do it the same way. You got like your two voices from channel 1, then you got two gates from channel 1. But to get 2 gates from 1 gate, because there's only 1 gate output on the MC4, they've got these little mini patch bays on here. So you put your main gate from the MC4 into there, and then you got 2 gates feeding the 2 voices, CV1, CV2, and that it goes the same way for all of them really. So that explains that. So in this example, we've got on channel 1 and 2, it's a 4 voice chord, so 2 voices on channel 1, 2 voices on channel 2. Channel 3 is it's like 8s in harmony with thirds, so it just goes, you know, through the chords, and it plays 8 notes up and down the scale. I think it's maybe all up, but and then on the 4th one we've got 16ths coming out of CV1, and on the CV2 we've got a cable ready for the tempo CV, which I'll explain separately. So we'll just play what we got. So that's like the 4 bars, and that's got the 4 voice chord, the 8s in harmony, and then the 16th on the 4th channel. Play it again. So there's 7 things happening there, but now we've got the option to use one of them CVs, in this case channel 4, to control the tempo. So just put the mini jack in there. So it's just a CV, doesn't need a gate. So we play the example again, and in the display you can see that I've programmed CV2 to do the ascending speed. Okay, and it doesn't have to be, I mean that's 16th segments, but you can do it in 1 bar at a time. It's very detailed. Okay, this is an example of using the MC4 to program the drum kit. So it's all the same hookup as previously described. So I've used 4 channels, and I'll play what we've got so far. So that's really it. You can obviously, you know, your imagination is the key to this. So the patching is sort of straightforward. You can probably get some double voices using the CV2, but keeping it simple. Do some more drum programming on the MC4, just maybe to explain things might help. I'll just play what I put in. So that was 6 bars of kit. On channel 1 we've got hi-hats, channel 2 snare, channel 3 kick drum. So the way I find this quite easy to program is to use the defaults of the MC4. Let's just go into edit mode. Quick way there is to just press that cursor. So we're back, and if this is on the snare drum, track 2. The step time, that's how long the notes last for, they're all set to 12 all the way through, and that applies to the 4 tracks. So in fact each bar has got 16 beats, and that's 12. So all you do really is you just program your note in, and you do it 16 times, measure end at the 16th, and then so you've got 16 segments, and all you really need to do is go to the gate time, shift 3, and then if we scroll through there we can see if we want it to sound, give it a 10, or you can just give it a 1 in the case of drums. 0, it's not going to sound. 10, it's going to sound. 0, it's not going to sound. 10, it's going to sound. Just see if I can explain it a bit further. A bit of paper here. So each bar is a 4/4 bar, and we've got 16 notes per bar, semiquavers, and you've got 4 lots of 4. And the way to kind of keep it, how can you put it, easy to organise in your mind is the very first beat is beat 1, and then the second lot of 4s, it starts on beat 5, beat 9 for the third lot of 4s, and beat 13 for the last lot of 4s. So you can kind of break it down into segments, you know, if you're thinking about it, or you can, you know, you might have it written down. And really and truly, so let's say this was a snare drum, we could just let it play 16 times, or we could say we want it on that first beat, that'd be a 1 or a 10. Second beat we don't want, so 0, 0, 0, 10. This is on the gate time, that's 1, 0, 0. So going back to the MC4, on the kick drum on channel 2, I'm going to play it, and you can watch the gate time sort of change. And what I'll do is I'll slow the tempo down with this tempo control on the front, so you can sort of see it in slower, and perhaps get a better idea. Okay, hope that helps. Yeah, all the channels were programmed in the same way. They've all got 16 beats, and it's just on or off on the gate times, which determines how they play. We programmed the single voice example from the manual, and I'm going to show you the 4 voice example. So it basically gives it to you. It does give it to you step by step, but if you read music, it's kind of easier really to just play it in from the music, but it does give you a step by step. So it's an 8 bar thing, so give it a go. So we've got 4 parts, got the melody top, some little ornaments on the second on the second line, arpeggios 16s on the third line, and a bass on the fourth. So let's give that a play, see if it helps you if you follow that. I put that music in, basically I just kind of, got the notes in, so from the music you can just really just write the note above the note that you see, say that might be a 31, 38, whatever, and so you can you soon become familiar with what the notes are. Or you can have a little, something written down to remind you. And the timings, like for instance, I'm in 48 time bass here, so you got 48, that's one beat, 48, 48, 48. If you want it to sound for the full length, your gate time would be 48 as well. So step time 48. And then basically you could just put a note in there, but don't make it sound for those rests, and then you just make these notes sound. So it's pretty straightforward once you get into it. This is a demo, the MC4, using the keyboard entry mode. So instead of using the keypad, you can enter it from the keyboard. So I'll show you the setup and then what to do. So we've got a DX7, doesn't really matter, any MIDI synth or even MIDI from the door, whatever, any. So it's MIDI out from the DX7 to, this is a Kenton Pro Solo. It converts MIDI to CV and gate. CV and gate is what feeds the keyboard entry on the MC4. So we've got MIDI out from the DX7, MIDI in to the Pro Solo, and then we've got a control voltage out, and we've got a gate out. I put them into the OP-8 so we could hear the piano monitoring. But to record it, you put the CV on the front panel of the MC4 as the external input. So you've got CV and gate. So to input CV and gate from a keyboard, Shift 7, which puts it into that CV and gate mode. So when you're ready to record, press the measure in, gives you 2 bars counting. Okay. Recorded that, so yeah, let's play it back. So we're on channel 1 on the MC4. Now you can tidy all of that up if you want to. You can go into your normal CV1 step time and gate time and get it exact. But if you're a keyboard player, you want to probably put your expression in. So bear in mind that this is just a single voice, so you can only put like one note in at a time. You can build it up through the channels and build layers up. So we'll just put something on channel 2. Go to channel 2 and we'll record something on top of that, just a little lick or something, just to show that can be done. So give that a play. It's going to be a little bit out of time, but You can correct that timing just in your normal ways, or there's a gate rewrite, and I think you just kind of press the keys in the timing you want, and it keeps the note. So it just shows if you're a keyboard player, you can play it in you know, nicely, and you can keep your expression and your timing. And if you play like me and you're not exact, you can go in the MC4 and change it. We'll just do something where we build a chord. So I'll change the sound and logic. I've changed the logic to strings. So monitoring it from the Kenton, you just put the CVs and gate into the OP-8. You can monitor it. So when you want to record, you plug the CV and gate into the external input, the MC4. So we're going to build a chord. So you've got to do it a channel at a time, you know, like one note at a time. So we just give that a go. So we're in CV and gate, which was shift 7. Now we 2 bars of intro. Okay, go to channel 2, shift forward, we're in channel 2, ready to record, 2 bar count. And go to channel 3, shift forward, measure in to start the count. And shift forward for channel 4 and give it a play. So yeah, so you build chords up. Obviously you can use the CV2s. If you're a keyboard player, you know, you can play your lines in. You can either do it and get them exactly right by using the gates and the step time and gate time, or you can just play naturally and use your expression. So that's the demo of keyboard entry as opposed to using the keypad on the MC4 to enter things. Could do some drums just to see how that can be done. So I've set it up for kit and put the MC4 into CV and gate, shift F7. And go to channel 2, shift forward. And the channel 3. Go to channel 4. So that's how you program the kit in without having to put in each note separately, using the keypad. And obviously if you're a good player, you can play them in. If you want to adjust the timings, if you haven't got anything dead on, easily done using the step and gate time. You can also put in notes and timings using the keyboard with a different method, which is called the gate rewrite. So you just put your notes in using CV1 on the keyboard, any timing, and then you can tap in the timing using the gate rewrite. So on CV1, channel 1, just put some notes in. And it doesn't matter how you play them in, you can just put one note at a time in. Gate rewrite is Shift F8, it gives you 2 bars counting, and then you tap any one key on the keyboard to put the timings in. Give that a play. And if your timing's a bit out, you can you can look at the gate time, you can look at the step time, and you can adjust those, if you're not quite right. So that's just another way of putting data into the MC4. This is just to go over the controls of the MC4. Side of things. On the back of the MC4, you've got inputs and outputs. So you've got a DIN, which is your kind of Roland gear, 24 beats. Sorry, 24 clocks per beat. I think it's 24, and you can either send that out or receive it in. That's like a DIN plug. Then you've got the CMT, which we've been using to save data to the DAW or a cassette, so that's in and out, and use the same connections for when you stripe a tape or stripe a DAW, so you can send out the time code from the MC4 to a tape or a DAW, and then you put the MC4 in receive mode, and then the MC4 will start up when it receives that time clock back. Then you've got the external stop and start, so obviously foot pedals or another synth or a trigger signal can stop it and start it. And then over there you've got a ribbon parallel connector, and that goes to the Roland MTR100 digital cassette recorder. So that's an alternative to saving using a cassette or a DAW. So it's much faster than saving by the other method. I haven't quite got this up and running yet, so I haven't really tested it, but it's really convenient and quick to use. So when you're programming, you hardly know you're saving it. It's practically instant. You don't have to sort of wire it up and this, that, or just connect it, and that's it. It takes care of itself, really. That's very good. Anyway, back to the MC4. Just run through the controls. So we've shown examples of keypad entry and keyboard entry, and been using the middle controls a lot. But over on the left, you've got these 4 buttons: insert, delete, copy, and repeat. So you can insert anything anywhere, really. You put your cursor where you want it, and it's it's a tree of commands. Really. Delete, same thing. You can delete everything: a single step, a measure, a series of measures, a channel. And then you've got your copy, which again you can copy anything anywhere from a single step to a channel. A 1 bar, a series of bars, copy it. You can also copy with transpose. So for instance, if you had, say, a 16 bar by a program, and you want it copied, but you want it in a, you know, maybe upper fourth or something, you can do the transpose there. And also you've got the repeat. So again, if you have 16 bars and you want to repeat them, you don't have to actually program the 16 bars in or copy them again. You can just tell it to repeat, and that's a really good facility as well. So got the cursor left and right there, the shift map, so that really explains when you press shift and a number what they do. We've been through most of those. Got your keypad, you've got your forward and back, your measure ends and stop and start, and then you've got your free modes, which is play, CMT mode and edit. They just cycle through. And then you've got the cycle, which whatever you've got programmed you can cycle it. The sync, you can switch it to the DIN, which we explained in just a few minutes ago. And you've got your internal, which sync is what we've been demonstrating really. Everything's been with internal sync, or from a tape, or you can call that a DAW, and the external on the front. So say you stripe to tape or you stripe to DAW, you've got the MC4 ready, you know, in waiting. It's in play mode but waiting with the measure end, and then when the DAW plays back the time cut, the stripe, it'll start playing from there. Very accurate. And down at the bottom there we've got the total tune, so that's just make sure everything's in tune with everything, you know. And you've got the your external input, so that's when you program the MC4 by using an external keyboard, and you can calibrate that if you're getting any chatter or noise from the keys, but I've never felt the need to do that. It always seems to just work. Tempo CV, where you put a CV voltage in with, you know, whatever numbers you program, speed up, slow down, set a tempo. That's after you've set your initial tempo, so you can make tempo changes. Then you've got your external sync, which is mirroring what's on the back in jacks for, you know, tape stripes, etc. And that's about it. Here's a demo of using the MC4 to trigger a guitar. So it's basically like acting as a gate on and off. And just put a simple example in. I'll just show you what the example is. Go to edit mode, cursor back, and on the CV1 I've entered, skip to the first beat, I've entered 24, that's the CV, and the next entry I've got a 0, so that's really on off as far as this this system goes with triggering the guitar. Number 3, 24, that's going to sound. 4, that's not going to sound. I'll just give it a play. Well, actually I'll explain what it's going through first. So that's you've got a trigger out from CV1 on the MC4. Now down on here I've got a unit which I've made. It's not actually a black finger, so might want to cover that over. So it's just something I've adapted. So what it is, you've got your guitar in, and you've got your guitar out. And it's an 18 volt unit, so you get your power switch. And I'm getting the 18 volts from a sort of custom pedal board, you know, DC supply unit, but you know, 18 volts in. And the CV from the MC4 goes into an input on this unit. What this is really, you could think of it like it's like the Euro rack type system. It's a VCA, so it's basically triggering an amp inside this unit to go on, off whenever you pulse it with the signal from the MC4. So I'll just give it just a quick do. So I'll play it. Where's the guitar without anything? Nothing's going to sound, but when you go into the MC4 play mode, that's basically pulsing. So at the MC4, you know, you can obviously do your timing. You can do it like with the knob. You can do it from the CV2 to the track, and you can change that rhythm pattern on the, I mean, we just got 4s on, off, on, off, so it's like a tremolo almost. And we do a few examples of that. Yeah, demoing the gated guitar, I put like another pattern in. I'll just play it and show you how it's done really. So, yeah, so you can put any pattern you like in, complicated or simple, and I'll just do some other things really, show you what's possible. Yeah, we've got another example of triggering the guitar by the MC4. A bit more gated guitar. Got a drum beat with it this time. Yeah, I'm going to do an explanation of the MC4 programming for the last guitar gate example. So you got like the rhythm pattern, which is bum 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 bum. Okay, so that's what we're after, and we just put it on repeat. But to achieve that, you've got to divide the bar into 32 segments. So you set your MC4 at a time base of 48.66, 6 being, that's the step time, and that's the length of one of these segments. 6 being the gate time is just the gate of those. But because we're triggering from the actual CV voltage, they're fine to leave as that. So you set your CV, you get your bar in 32 segments, and you put them all in at 0 or you put them all in at 24, doesn't really matter. Put them all in at 0, I would say. Then on the last one, do your measuring. So you've got 32 beats in the bar. 1 beat, 2 beats, 3 beats, 4 beats. And so you program them all in as zeros. All you've got to do is go back on the first beat, put in a 24, so it plays. Next 3 zeros don't play. The next one plays. Put the 24 in there, 0, 24, 0, and do the same for the other beats, and that gives you that pattern, but nice and clean and crisp. As far as the drum, that was on channel 1 of the MC4. On channel 2 I put a kick drum, so just put in the 32 segments again, and it'll basically play. On the first one you want it to play there, that's the first beat, second beat, third beat, fourth beat. This will play on actual gate times as opposed to the CV. So you'd put your kick drum in, but you'd have all these step times as 6, but on the gate times on the drum you just have it 6 there, then 0 for the ones where you don't want it to play, like we discussed in the drum programming. I hope that's clear. Thank you very much. Continuing the demo for the MC4, I've actually got the MTR 100 working. That's the digital data cassette recorder. So I'll demo that while we're doing it. So what I've got programmed in the MC4 is just 1 bar of semiquavers, 16 to the bar. So I'll just give that a play. Okay, so it's just a 1 bar. So I'll save that. I've saved it once already with program 1, but I'll save it with the same program number because it's the same length. But we'll do a few things with the save. So use the mode, and when you've got the MTR 100 plugged in, which is this flat cable at the back of the MC4 and the back of the MTR 100, that's the connection. You format your data cassette. They've got to be data cassettes, not audio cassettes, and that's a simple thing. You just do insert, measure end, and that kind of gets the tape ready for saving. So we do the save command, which is 7, give it the number 1 and measure end, and then that tape springs into action, and it's asking me if I want the same name because I've already saved it once. So I'll press measure end for the same name, save. So let's verify that. So it's okay, and that's ready to load again when you want it. So what I'll do is get into the edit mode, and I'll just delete, go back to the beginning there. that's it. So there's nothing in the MC4, and if we play it, nothing will happen. So we go into the CMT mode, and we'll do load 1 measure end. Okay, and then we'll give that a play. So that's great. It works obviously. And what I'll do now is I'll put a load more data in so you can get the difference in speed, because we demonstrated the cassette save, which obviously takes a lot longer. So this is just 1 bar. So I'll put a number of bars of stuff in, and you can see how long it takes to save and reload from there. So what I've done is I've put 8 bars in, just going up the scale, and just to make it longer really, so we can demonstrate this save. So I'll just play it anyway. So bar 1, bar 2, so what I'll do is I'll copy that, so we'll double the length. Copy bar 1, enter, to bar 8, enter, enter, measure end. So that's right, so that's 2 lots of 8 at 16, so we're ready on bar 17. We'll just double that up again. So what I'm trying to do is just get more data into the MC4 to demonstrate how fast the digital cassette recorder saves info. So let's do that again. So we'll just copy 1, enter to 16, enter, measure end. That's it, so 33. So let's play that. Well, not going to play it right through, we'll just speed it right up. Give it a quick play. Eight bars. Okay, so it's 32 bars now. So we've done it with the kind of 1 bar example on the save. So we saved this as 2. So press 7, give it a file name of 2, enter. So we're saving on the digital cassette recorder. And we'll verify 2. So what we do now is we'll delete everything on that, go into the edit mode, delete everything we've got, and then just reload it. That's it, so we've got nothing there. Play it, there isn't anything. So we've lost what we programmed, and now we'll load it up from the digital data cassette. So load is 9 and number 2. That's working away. Put it in play mode. We're looking to have 32 bars now. That's it. So that's the demo of the MTR 100. A lot faster than saving data onto an audio cassette or onto your DAW.